I'm Barbara Sykes and I am trustee and manager of the Freedom of Spirit Trust for Border Collies Rescue. The Freedom of Spirit Trust became a registered charity in 2006. Prior to that, I'd always taken them in and rescued them and done behavioural work with them. Then I started a sanctuary, which I was running out of my own business. It got to the point where it was very difficult to keep affording to do it, and there was a legacy left for me to start up the rescue, and that's how it became a registered charity. So now we don't just do sanctuary, obviously we do rehoming as well. We rescue Border Collies and Border Collie crosses, rehabilitate and rehome whenever possible. If it isn't possible because of behavioural or health issues, they then stay here in sanctuary with us. This is TJ. She's 6 months old. She's very slight, very delicate, or appears to be very delicate. She came in with 2 brothers and a sister when she was 6 days old. The mother had turned against them. So these were actually going to be put to sleep, but the vet rang us up and we took them on. They were hand-reared. She had a massive lump on her head that her mother had caused, so there was uncertainty whether she would survive. She has survived, but she stayed here because we're not sure. She does have a few problems. She's probably got a bit of a neurological problem, but she's an amazing pup, very, very, very people-friendly. She's living with me and she's going to be trained up to be an ambassador dog because the old ambassador dogs are retired, which means they do a lot of work for the trust, bringing support in for us, helping people understand what we're all about. She's not the easiest pup, but she's by no way the most difficult. She's living with 2 very old dogs in my house, so she's doing very, very well. And she's doing exceptionally well, to be quiet at the moment, because she can be very giddy. But this is what rescue is about. Sometimes you get something and you think, no matter how cute it is, it just might not survive. She's survived so far, and we're pretty sure. TJ, you're going to make it all the way, baby? Of course you are, because you're beautiful. You're a beautiful girl. So look out for TJ in the future, because she's going to be the face of the trust, aren't you, my darling? There's a lot resting on this young lady behaving herself, because we do quite a lot. I do quite a lot of public speaking, and we go around, we do seminars, we do training sessions, we go to events, and this young lady is going to hopefully grow into being able to go and be really well behaved. People will be able to see exactly what we do, and she's going to represent the trust at all of these talks. So if you want to see TJ grow up, book a talk. We get people who want to volunteer, and we don't usually have volunteers for the simple reason we do have some dogs here with serious issues. And I think sometimes it's a little bit misguided view of rescue. Oh, you know, it's so sweet, we want to go and be able to cuddle the rescues. It isn't like that. It certainly isn't for us, because most of them are coming with issues. They could be aggressive, they're nearly all horrendous on the lead. And it's the job of the team here to make sure that when these dogs are adopted, they're going out with good manners. We don't bother about give us a paw, lie down, roll over, play dead, fetch a ball. We want good manners. Wait at the door while we go through it, walk nicely with us on a lead. That's what we work on with them. The dogs that are up for rehoming, they get working sessions every day. Occasionally they get rest days. I mean they get days when they're out of training. We let them just have some time off. They've got playpens to go in. They get a lot of good time spent with them. Most of them are on special diets because they've come in with dietary problems, or their diet is stress related. But at the end of the day, the guys that work here in this team, they're good. We work together to put a training programme on for each dog, and every single dog is different.
So my name is Jen McCaskill, and I'm a dog trainer here at the FOSTBC Trust. So on a day-to-day basis, we come in the morning, we clean the dogs out, we feed them, give them any medication that they need. During the course of the day, we'll get certain dogs out, do whatever training they require, and let them out for the toilet as well. A training plan is, we test them with various things. So we test them with traffic, other dogs, joggers, bicycles, and we see how they react, and we go from there. So if they react to a certain thing, we will train them to hopefully not react as much, so it's not an issue for a potential adopter in the future. It's all right, Malk.
This is Malk. Malk is a partially sighted dog who could potentially go fully blind. So at the moment what we're doing with him is we're working with him to make sure that he can understand all his commands before he loses his sight completely, so that when it does happen he can be comfortable in his general everyday life. So we're going to take him out onto the car park. He is quite sensitive to sound, so you might find he turns around to look at us quite a lot. That's because he knows that we're there, but he's not quite sure
This way, Malk.
what we are, if that makes sense.
This way. Good
So at the minute,
boy.
his senses are all in hypersensitive mode. He's smelling quite a lot. He'll be able to smell the sheep at the bottom, wondering what's going on, and obviously he'll be able to smell us as well. There's quite a lot of new smells going on, so he's more likely to be throwing his head in the direction of whatever he can smell.
Keep going. Oh, well
But all we're
done,
doing
Malk.
here is encouraging him, making sure he
Well
feels
done.
comfortable. He doesn't have to
Should we go
panic
this
about
way?
what's
Go
around
this
him
way.
or anything like that.
Good boy, Malk. 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 Leave.
And he's seen the sheep.
Boy. Go stand.
So we think as much as Malk can see is mostly just outlines, so shadows and shapes and stuff. So he will be able to see the sheep but not quite make out what they are.
When I first started, there was a dog called Holly. Not my usual type of dog that I sort of gel with, but she was a very odd character, and I seemed to gel with her. So I used to take her out every single day, and she was the first dog that I saw improvement in that I had trained. Before the improvement, she was very timid. She was very scared. She wasn't keen on people. She wasn't very good on a lead, so it was, first of all, we had to sort of sit with her, gain her trust, and then I used to walk around sort of the paddocks on a lead with her, eventually sort of going onto the car park and down the lane, and she just thrived from that.
We do put an awful lot of time into these dogs. They have to be here a certain length of time before the rehome because we need to assess them. And we need to make sure that we know what kind of home that they need to go into. But also there's education. We don't just say, there's the dog, you can take it home. An adopter has to spend a length of time with us learning how to handle that dog, what the problems might be and how to get through them and how to carry on with the training. When people come to us to adopt a dog, we're not letting that dog go. They're joining our family. They're becoming part of the group. The dog stays under our umbrella for the rest of its life, which means if the handler has a problem, or the adopter has a problem, they've got as much free training as they might need. And if they can't keep the dog for whatever reason, illness, change of circumstances, that dog comes back to us. It isn't just rescued and thrown out into the big wide world. It stays under our umbrella. And I think that makes us a little bit special. There's a divided opinion of which is best, to buy a dog or to adopt a dog. If you're buying a dog and it's an older dog or you're getting it from the free ads out of the paper, you really don't know what you're getting. But it's like anything else. It can turn out to be the best dog in the world. If it doesn't, there's no comeback. You've got to live with that. We get people who have bought a dog or a puppy. They come on a behaviour consultation to my daughter, who's a consultant in canine behaviour, and they've got problems because they've just not handled the dog right or it's been the wrong dog for them. Adopting a dog, if you're getting it from a rescue that has spent time assessing that dog, then you know exactly what you're getting and you know you're going to have backup with it. And to be honest, there are so many dogs being bred in this country at the moment. Oh, adopt a dog. Don't encourage the breeders to keep breeding more. Some of these dogs have been in rescues for a long, long time, for many years. And there's so many dogs in rescue that people come, the picking and the choosing, and the little dogs with a bit of an issue, they get left behind.
I'm Beatrice Harrison. I'm a trainer here at the Freedom of Spirit Trust. I think, just for myself personally, there's a lot of people that are overbreeding dogs, and it's becoming a big problem. We see it quite a lot here. And for me, I think the dogs that come into us, you see them build up and you think, well, why wouldn't anyone want these dogs? I took home a wee puppy. Her name's Misty. She's great. I absolutely love her. She's difficult at times, but all collies are, and I think that's just part of their quirks, so she's great. So the adoption process for me was slightly different because I work here But the general adoption process is we'll bring people up. I spent a lot of time with Misty before I actually took her home to make sure that she was right for me. But a lot of times when people come up, we take them up into a meeting room, sit them down, have a good chat, get to know them as people, and then we look at the dogs and say, actually, we think this dog is who's going to suit you best, both character-wise and also lifestyle. So I think Misty just ticked those boxes for me personally, and then I ended up just taking her home. The charity is important because it's sort of a niche thing. A collie is not just it's not a pet dog, it's a working dog, and it's a dog that is quite massively misunderstood by general public. And I think it's really important that we get to sort of educate and show what the breed is actually all about in a way that brings light into other people's lives as well. And it also is great because we get to give the collies the lives that they sort of deserve. So Nell came to us as a neglect case. She was severely matted and overweight, and when we started to remove those mats we realised that actually she had maggots in her skin, and she was really uncomfortable, really quiet, really sort of scared. And we took her to the vets, got her shaved, made sure that she was okay, gave her a full MOT essentially. And when she came back, she was already a lot happier and healthier. But as time sort of went on, we worked with her to build up a good sort of exercise regime with her, help her lose some of that weight, where we were also building up bonds with her to make sure she was happy and she knew that she could be around people again and trust them. And she went out a really, really happy dog. And the change in it was massive. It was so nice to see. It was really rewarding. Nell was just one of many cases that we see quite regularly here, where they need a lot of veterinary help. And unfortunately that does mean that for us we have quite a lengthy veterinary bill, and that's why things like donations and stuff are so important to us as a charity, so that we can make sure that all our dogs live those happy, healthy lives that they all really deserve.
We've expanded an awful lot since we started with the rescue. Social media was a little bit new to all of us, but now we have social media, we've got Facebook, we've got the website, there's TikTok, there's Instagram. The team between us, we all do the social media, and that does bring us in some support. People fundraise for us, which is amazing. We've just had a wonderful lady do, I think, a cold water dip every month through winter and raised a lot of money for us. And I think one of the important things, we do have dogs in sanctuary here, and they cost a lot. They get good food, they've got fresh water, the pens are kept clean, they're exercised every day. They still incur vet bills and food bills. The dogs that are in sanctuary are the dogs that people can sponsor. They're with us because they can't be rehomed. In some cases, it might be because of bad health, but even with the older dogs, we have a senior citizen scheme where older people can adopt older dogs, which is amazing for the people. And it's fantastic for the dogs. It gets them out of rescue and gives them a good home. But then there's some dogs that they've come in with such behavioural issues that it would be very wrong to put them into a home. But we keep them here. We don't put them to sleep. Arguably, they cost us money, they cost the trust money, and they're taking up spaces. But a life is a life. And as long as those dogs are not a danger to the team that work here, then we give them a good life. And we've always said we give them a quality of life, but judge quality. What is quality? We could give a dog a good quality of life here and it's not happy. As long as we can give them a happy life, then they do have a quality of life. And if we can do that for them, we do it.
Hello, my name's Andrew. I've been at the sanctuary now for 5 years. So I do a couple of days a week. So I tend to specialise, if that's the right word, in the sanctuary dogs. So I help out with the rehoming dogs, but really I'm here to help out with the sanctuary dogs. So that's making sure they get some exercise, they get some fun outside, and grooming as and when required. So this is Ted, who's one of our sanctuary dogs. Been with us for about 5 years now, which is sort of roughly how long I've been with the sanctuary as well. He's already starting to play with the ball, which is his favourite game when he gets out for afternoon play times. So Harley's hanging around in the background at the moment, but Ted quite likes playing on his own, so we just let him crack on. So when Ted came to us, a dog less than a year old, we really didn't know quite whether he was going to settle into the sanctuary, because he had a number of behavioural issues, main one of which was anybody that tried to go near him, he would sort of air snap around them. You never quite knew whether it was going to turn into a full bite, but he really was a handful when he first came in. But after about 6 months, he started to get used to the sanctuary and realised that it was okay to live here. And over time now, he's become one of our established stars. So loves nothing better than coming out and playing with a ball. Likes his walks out. I guess the only thing that I'm still trying to work on is how to get him groomed, if you can see his back end. But apart from that, he's a proper little sanctuary dog now. We don't ask anything of him. He's happy to do sort of as he chooses, lives his life out with us. And the alternative, of course, was that he would have been put to sleep. So compared to that, he's living his best life, as I'm sure you can see. So Harley's now going to have a see whether he can get anywhere near the ball. Oh. So we currently have a long line on Ted, as you can probably see. That wouldn't ordinarily happen, but because we've got filming here today, because we've got strangers here today, I guess the two things that Ted still is sensitive to is stranger danger and aggression towards dogs. So bear in mind we've got camera people here and film people. We've just popped on Ted's long line so that if we do need to pull him away at any stage, we've got hold of him. But as you can see, all he's really bothered about is his ball. So Ted really is living out his best life.
People do sponsor those dogs. That helps us a lot with the monthly payments, and they can come and see the sponsor dog. They might not be able to stroke it because it might be a bit of an aggressive one, and that's why it's here, but they can come and see it. They get onto a private Facebook page for sponsor people so they can see photographs and video clips of the dogs. It's quite nice. It's almost like a little family unit, but it does help us a lot when the public support us. Some of the dogs that are in permanently with us are on the website, not all of them because there are quite a lot of them. And if people go onto the website, they can choose which dog they want to sponsor, and if they sponsor it, they then get a certificate and information about the dog and photographs. They can do a one-off sponsorship or a monthly one. If I'm honest, the monthly ones are great for us because we know that we have that coming in every single month.
So Bud came to us from a rescue down south, and they'd basically said that he'd been having issues in homes and just sort of brought back and then rehomed again. But that's as much as we know really on his story. So we spent a lot of time with him in the start, just sitting with him, getting to know him, letting him know that we're in his space and that he's safe and that we're not going to do anything untoward. And then eventually just built that up, starting with like lead walking, making sure he knew that he was safe on walks and that he felt protected. Just a lot of sort of relationship building with him really. But now that he's got security and he knows that he's happy, he's going to stay with us forever, so he's found his forever home here. So educational tools that we actually have a few books that Barbara's written herself. So we have books specifically about training the Border Collie and living with them, which are really, really great for people that are trying to understand the breed a bit more and get a little bit more of an in-depth view of things outside of what we can tell them. You'll find our books along with a multitude of other things on our website, which is fostbc.org.uk. So in the future, we're hoping to work on a podcast. So it'll be us as trainers and Barbara as well, sitting down and talking about lots of different things within the canine world, as well as just what's going on here, how everything is in the state of rescue, things like that. We also continuously update our social media channels, so we've got Facebook, TikTok and Instagram and Twitter, where we like to keep people updated on the everyday runnings of the rescue.